Welcome back to the RETSY podcast. I'm your host, Matthew Morrison. Today, Chris and I sit down with RETSY founding partner, Shawna Warner. Let's get into it.
I don't think being on a team is for everybody. I think that if your goal is to have a strong group of men or women or a combination of both, where you can support one another, that's the most important thing. Having somebody that can support you is so important.
Welcome to the RETSY podcast. Today we're joined by RETSY founding partner, Shawna Warner. Shawna, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
No, we appreciate it.
The Shawna Warner from the team.
OG.
Should we start there, how we started working together?
No. I always like to start with what did you do before real estate?
Oh, okay.
So.
That's a good one. I was in marketing before real estate, and I worked in Huntington Beach at a aerospace company. We actually made all of the interiors of big airlines like Airbus, Boeing, Fokker. We made all the galleys, the sidewalls, the overhead bins, that sort of thing. So it's kind of fun. I got to walk production and see that kind of stuff being made. But then I moved here, and marketing 30 years ago when I moved here paid very little in Arizona because there wasn't that many big jobs, big opportunities. And I made nothing, and I worked ridiculous hours. And I was living at the time with Jim Lyon, who owns Rest Lyon Real Estate. And he's like, you need to get it wasn't just me. It was me and my husband. But
well, we're going to
that's a different topic. And he was like, get your real estate license. And so I would go at night and get my real estate license. And this will date me significantly, but they would tape on VHS the Melrose Place of the week so that I could watch it after I got back from real estate school.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, that's
you might not even know what Melrose
no, I
Place
do.
is. Okay.
I'm not that young. I remember.
It was big back then.
No, it was.
Mm-hmm.
VHS and cassette tapes.
Yeah,
That's
I
right.
remember making my own cassette tapes.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were in a diaper.
Till
No.
they pulled and you'd wind it with a pencil.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So marketing background.
Yep.
And so what attracted you to real estate?
Gosh. Well, I think you all know Babby Gable has always been my mentor in real estate. And she was like, absolutely, get your license because I'm pregnant with my son, which was her second child at the time. And she worked in new home sales, which is how I also met Mary Grassel. And I took over for Babby. She's like, this is temporary. I'm coming back. Took over for Babby. We worked for Geoffrey Edmunds, sold Greyhawk, McDowell Mountain Ranch, DC Ranch, back when Thompson Peak Parkway was a dirt road. I mean, We literally just navigated in and went to your little sales trailer. And when Babby came back, we just all got along so well. They just made a spot for me on their team. And I did that until I had my second child, who's 24.
That's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, in the developer sales experience that early in your career,
I was like
sets the bar kind of high.
25. Yeah, it's great.
And learning from Geoffrey Edmunds, I mean, that had
amazing.
To been freaking different time, different place, but like legacy set the wake and developer sales and luxury subdivisions and
he sure did.
I don't know him that well, but everything I've heard from him is awesome.
Yeah, he was a great guy. And the one thing I took from him was he put above anything else, he put sales and customer service above anything else. Yes, of course, everybody, there's a bottom line for everything, but he was so smart in how he did business, and I was grateful to work with him. And then Toll Brothers bought Jeff out. So I worked with Toll Brothers for probably, maybe a couple years before I had my second child.
Yeah. And the development sales things, I mean, it is awesome, but it's not all what everybody, there's a lot less leniency on your schedule and time and everything.
For sure. Yeah.
Right.
And that's why after the second child, my husband was like, okay, this is because you're gone from 8, 9 in the morning till 5, 6, 7 at night on the weekends and just don't have a ton of family life. When I was doing it, the pay, I think, was much better than what it is today. I think it's a little harder to have a really good income doing that. But I mean, back in back in the day, Babby and I would find checks in our daytimers, because this is when we use daytimers. But it was good. It was fun. I enjoyed it. Babby still to this day remains, my mentor in real estate 30 years later.
I love the development sales avenue. That's essentially what caused me to get my real estate license at the very, very beginning. Is a guy named Gary Gagnon came in, and he was friends with like the president of Del Webb, and I was fitting him for golf clubs. That's when I worked in the golf shop in high school, and like, you should get your real estate license and come work for Del Webb. And like, he didn't realize like I actually follow through on what I say.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I did, and I called him like 3 months later, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, we're never going to hire a 18-year-old kid that has a brand new license, but I'm really proud of you for getting your license."
That's awesome.
It's a Century 21.
Off we go.
But yeah, the development sales thing, that was so attractive to me. It's just like,
It was
I love
great.
when you had a direct flow of clients just walking through the door. And I mean, a lot of follow-up, a lot of process. Del Webb was a big brand too.
For sure.
So, I don't know. Is it still today?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah. But yeah, it's funny how like I hear you tell these stories, and then it's like, you remember back and how all the intricacies of RETSY and partners and different agents, like we all have known each other for so long. Yeah.
We
And now we're
have.
partners.
I know.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's-
And Babby and Barry have been like parental role models of Kelly and I, and like
Don't say parents.
parental. I mean, there's not that big of an age. But you know what I mean.
I do.
Their kids all they needed their kids to be is 4 years ahead so they could give advice of what's coming.
That's right. Oh, parental.
Parental.
You didn't look to them as parents. Got you.
Yeah.
You can cut that
No,
off.
they're
Cut
parental
that whole snippet
advisors.
out.
No, Jack, leave it in. But no, I mean, great advisors. They really truly care about people and success and everything. And and like going back to that, I remember we had a development sales pitch we had, and I think it was either Mary or Babby brought in like the Geoffrey Edmunds playbook for one of the previous projects they'd sold out, was done and gone.
Probably like the waterfront.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was just like in this book. By the way, in the book, I found the picture of the three of you guys, or it wasn't in that book, but
Stop.
remember the one in the
Yeah.
office I had forever? Where it was like,
yeah.
It was like the three of you guys
Babies.
from years ago. How many years ago was that?
Oh my gosh. I didn't work at the waterfront. I had already transitioned into resale by then. That's 20 plus years ago.
It was like the developer sales book, and they just kept on paying out dividends because I'm like, oh, here's an old picture of the three of you guys.
So good. The old pictures are good.
But I mean, that said, it's like, brings into the whole like sharing within the company stuff. I mean, just everybody's willing to help in whatever way possible. So,
100%.
yeah. Speaking of you and I mean, you were my go-to person for a lot of questions in the neighborhood.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
we'd always answer the phone.
I
You'd give me great advice.
helped you buy your house.
You did.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like, is it a price I couldn't afford? And you called me when the price was where I could afford. Even though I felt like I couldn't afford it, you talked me into it, and super happy that I bought it.
I should have
And my
written
wife
in
and I,
some kind of proceeds.
Yeah.
Dividends.
And we're actually finishing an addition to it right now. Kelly and I
saw
just
that.
love that house so much.
That's
And,
great.
we just love that neighborhood. But
Great
forever
neighborhood.
grateful for you because, you're a good agent. Like, we didn't work for the same companies. We were just friends back then, and both in the same industry. And you followed up with me, and like, I'm sure you called like 5 other people, but you talked me into signing. So
Yeah. No,
so we
it's
wrote
great.
an offer on Shawna's listing, and I know Kelly and I are forever grateful to you for that. 'Cause you talked up the neighborhood. We knew it was awesome, but we didn't really know
Yeah.
until we knew.
Till you're there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So people are like, I'm going to die in my home. And I'm like, bullshit, you're going to call me in 5 years. Like, Kelly and I are going to be in that home for a long time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you told me that. You've told me that several times at several different homes. And while you were
this is the
out,
longest part.
it is. I'm shocked because when we were walked through it together, it was the first time I saw it, and you had it all torn up, cuts in the concrete, and like you were just like getting into the project, and you said like, we're going to be here through the kids through high school. And I was like, yeah, I've heard this before, back at this house and then back at this house. And sure enough, every 2 to 3 years, like you get the itch and you're moved. So you have been here the longest.
It's special. It's a special neighborhood. We lived there and the kids were young, and it's a special place. And there are people that have been there and absolutely will die in their houses in that neighborhood.
Not a lot of places can say that, but And it's like it brings into expertise. It's like I remember a conversation we had. I'm like, of all the neighborhoods in the best neighborhood, which sub-neighborhood is the best? Mm-hmm. And you've given me two, and Hillcrow is one of them. So,
micro intricacies.
Yes. Micro. Don't big word me, Shawna.
Here's a backstory.
Well, and that reminds me of like my favorite marketing piece that you guys have put out of the overlay of Arcadia with all the little dots of the homes that you guys have sold, like, because you guys truly know that neighborhood.
Thanks to our marketing department came up with that. That was a great one. You got it in your mailbox, and I think you were like, wow, this is really good. But it was
impressive.
Yeah.
You've been in just about every home in the neighborhood.
It's like a little pinpoint overlay of all the houses we've sold, and not to mention the ones we've just been in. So yeah.
So I like to think about like who's our audience of this podcast and this and that. And I know something that you're amazing at is like building your team, training your team, helping to run things. Maybe we should transition a little bit into tell me, we know how and why you got into real estate. We know some of your developer experience, but I mean, you guys are known as the team, right? And everybody in my neighborhood knows the team. Yeah. And you guys have sold a lot of homes. You have a great reputation in the neighborhood, but that doesn't just happen overnight. Want to take us through that whole process?
Yeah, I mean, it's been great. I actually met this morning with another team at RETSY that's just forming, and they asked if I would kind of sit down and go over structure, and I feel like I have a lot of advice to give. We, as a team, collectively have done some things great as it comes to our structure, and then we've done some things maybe we could have done better, so I felt like I was giving them a lot of advice that could help them, start it right originally. And I mean, the way our team clicks now is amazing. I mean, we have of course, Becca, Laura, and I, and then we have just the greatest associate agents that work with us. And it's a trial and error. Not everybody wants to be on a team. Not everybody feels that vibe for a team. But if I can say, Brooke Fair, she's come on to our team straight out of college, and she was willing to do whatever it took. She texted a few times every week. Do you have anything that I can attend? Do you have any showings I could shadow? She would sit open houses with us, and her business has just escalated. I mean, she's just such a great representative of our team, and I think shows when you do it right, it makes all the difference in the world.
Well, and it was genius because, I mean, she's looking at you guys and dominant force in a neighborhood. And, I mean, Brooke, I remember when you first talked about bringing her on, and incredibly sharp, looks like she's going to try to work hard. But a lot of times when an agent's newer to real estate, you don't know how much time they're going to dedicate towards the craft and working the business. And she just did everything. And, I mean, she's having an amazing year. I know I get my reports and I check in with the agents. I'm like, hey, kudos, you had a great month and stuff. It's like Brooke's always on that list. Yeah. And also very, very grateful to the leadership and education and mentorship that you've given her.
She's very grateful. And, we all need mentorship, and we all need somebody to give advice. And I think in this industry, it's so common to think that somebody, if I go to ask you for advice, are you going to want in on that listing, or it's just a
too
give.
Much take,
yeah, just such a give back ability to be able to mentor people as they come into their businesses. And then there's Laura Ingram, and she was doing great on her own, but she just felt like she needed some camaraderie, some people to talk to, just a more cohesive group. So she joined our group, and she's been great. And we love, sitting down with her when she has a question on how to talk to a seller or interview for a listing. I think it's just worked out really great. And we have a really great team right now.
Oh, for sure. And you just brought on a new member of the team, and I sat down with her and I told her, if you haven't already, you need to talk to Brooke and just do exactly what Brooke did.
And she's doing that. Eliza Stooks.
Playlist or
she's great.
Playbook or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. No, she's, again, another one fresh out of college, and has great contacts, and she also texts us a couple times a week. What do you have? How can I help?
Yep.
And she's just looking to learn. And I think people looking to learn and not people looking to take advantage of, you're going to have a great career.
Yeah, 100%. So I did want to kind of dive in. Did you have any more questions about team and stuff? Formation?
What if somebody's looking to start a team? Like, what do they need to be at for sales? Like, what thresholds in their life? I mean, I know, speaking from my experience, it was strictly like I wanted more freedom, and I wanted to have some camaraderie, and I wanted to have the people that support me in the areas where I lack. I mean, you know how my attention span is sometimes for certain things, and
Sure.
to have that collaboration. And it was Ronnie Gilbert who sat me down. He's like, "Hey, I have the perfect person for you."
Oh,
And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know
love
if I
Ronnie.
can afford it. I don't know if I could do this." I made up like 3 excuses. He's like, "Just have coffee with her. Hire her. You'll thank me later." And that's when I hired Chrissy.
oh, that's great.
Yeah, and look at how long Chrissy and I have been together, and we have that balance with each other. And and as we've added to the team, I just find that it makes the team stronger. And not all teams are like that. You see a lot of people like, "Oh, I'm going to start a team," and the next thing you know, they have like
sure.
9 agents on their team, and
Yeah.
nobody knows what they're doing, and this and that. Like, you are a perfect example of like building a team, being strategic on who you let in the door and who you give your time to train, and then also making sure that, because the biggest thing within teams, and a lot of agents maybe listening to this thinking about starting a team, you give all your time and everything, and then that team member does their first deal, and then they're like, "Oh, I can just do it by
They're
myself."
gone.
Right?
Yeah.
And you give so much time to get them to that. It's like, my question for you is, how do you get that balance of like loyalty after they're trained and they're having success?
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, I think a lot comes to personality. I think you can, and we've had our share of people that we've worked really hard and we've shared our resources and gone on listing appointments, and they get that listing appointment, and then they get it sold, and they come to a paycheck, and they're like, "Well, why would I need to share any of my commission?"
Why would I give a team split?
And you're like, "Well, we taught you how to make that happen." But no, I think that I don't think being on a team is for everybody. I think that if your goal is to have a strong group of men or women or a combination of both, where you can support one another, that's the most important. That's the most important thing. I mean, it's an industry that runs 24 hours a day, 365 days a week. So having somebody that can support you is so important. If you're out of town, being comfortable to ask somebody to go help you with a listing or go on an appointment for a listing, kind of equate it to the agents that don't want to pay a transaction coordinator.
Yeah.
It's you're stepping over pennies or dollars to pick up pennies, because I couldn't live without Megan. She makes my life so simple. She keeps my timelines together. It's one of the most important tools in my business, and I think a team member that's looking to join a team needs to look at it like that. Like, you're going to be so much more successful because of what you're going to learn, and later in life, when you want to start your own team, you're going to have the background to be able to be successful at that.
And I think when we first started RETSY, I mean, I say we because you were there since the beginning. The idea of RETSY is to give every agent essentially the same tools that a team would have. So they're not forced to go on a team, but there's certain people that just perform better on a team and want to be on a team and are willing to give back to that team. I mean, I know with my team, I kind of not fully open, but pretty open on what I spend on marketing. So,
Sure.
When we take a percentage of every commission that they close, like, they know that it goes back in there when they open up the newspaper and see the ad in there, or one of their friends texts them saying, "Hey, I saw your video," or this and that.
For sure.
And essentially all I'm doing is taking all the RETSY tools and putting them in play for my team. But that said, it's just like going back to the importance of like, how do you vet that person? I think I've gotten to the point where it's just like I'm overly candid.
For sure.
Yeah. Like, I mean, you guys can't see Sydney, but she's in the room right now. And it's like, I think I just did everything I possibly could to scare her away in the first meeting. And then she was like back for more the next day. And like, if you're overly candid and say, "These are my expectations," and it's like,
Right.
maybe even have them sign an agreement saying like, "You're not leaving for 3 years. If I'm going to give you 6 months of my time undedicated to help build you up and give you my formula for success specifically within my team and how it works."
Right.
Like, how do you keep them in that team, make sure they're comfortable? I had a little bit of a team downsizing over the last year or so, and it was actually harder than I thought. Because like when people find value in the team, they don't want to leave.
Right.
So that said, it's just like, and also identifying, remember that one agent we had to fire at the beginning where she made a commitment to one of the teams at RETSY and everything. And it was like, she closed the deal and then she called and said, well, I'm thinking about starting my own brokerage. And I'm like, the only reason why you got into RETSY is the team took you.
Right.
I mean, your license is still wet. Like,
right.
What are you
The
thinking?
ink's not
And then
dry.
we fired her and she was so upset. Do you remember this
I
person?
do.
We won't say her name, but it was just like at the end of the day, like when you make commitments, you have to keep to it. And then I started to think back. I'm like, that's an amazing team lead. I'm like, what if she was on Shawna's team? Shawna probably would have killed her, but she's on my team. I don't know that I'd have the attention span for her. But that said, it's like, finding that person, identifying that personality, and, is it just a gut feeling when you're like, this person's going to work out really well? I know when you said it about Brooke, I was like, wow, you seem really insistent about it. But
yeah, no, to me, it absolutely is now just part of, we have a meeting, we meet for a glass of wine, we sit and chat for a little bit about, what their goals are, and you just kind of know. I mean, I think after probably 15 plus years of having teammates kind of come on and off our team, you just kind of know. You know who is 100% in it, 100%, and the ones that want free leads, basically. They want the business handed to them, and that's just not how this business works. We have business to give out, but it's not like you're going to be front and center on my next $4 million listing in Arcadia proper. You have to earn all of that. And I think the other thing teammates will be short-sighted on is I've had agents on our team in the past that are going up for a really big listing, and they're very new, very green, probably don't know how to answer a lot of the questions that can come at you. I mean, my gosh, after, I don't know, I think I've had a license 29 years now, but after having a license this long, I'm still sometimes shocked and sometimes stunned by the questions that I'm asked in a listing appointment. And we've had an agent where they didn't want to bring one of us. And we're not going to take anything outside of our team agreement for something like that unless you need more help.
Unless you get sucked in.
Unless you get sucked in and becomes a big commitment on your end. But they didn't get the listing. And they didn't get the listing because they have never had a listing at that caliber before. So bring somebody in. Even if you're not on a team and you're at RETSY and you're a solo agent and you feel like you really need support to get a listing, maybe outside of your boundaries a little bit, outside of your comfort zone, bring somebody on. It's better to give them 25% of something and get the listing, because then you get 75% of a good commission and not 0% of zero.
I know I've gone on listing appointments with our agents, and I've kind of mastered the art of not getting sucked in. So that said, it's just like build them up, show them the resources, show them the backing of Forbes, show them the backing of RETSY. Yeah, but then explain to them, like, I don't go on listings. And, it's helped a lot of our agents, everything from like a letter from the president of Forbes to get the listing to, showing the support in the background. Because these agents go in and almost try to copy and say what we do, but they don't really do it.
You have to mean it. It has to be authentic. If it's not authentic, it's going to come across very awful to
We were joking
the
around
client.
about an agent the other day. It was like, oh, we would do a QR code on a website on every one of our listings. And it's like, they don't really understand what we do behind the scenes of that QR code and how those eyeballs are generated. And yeah, it's like, I mean, we didn't invent the QR code, but I think we did in real estate. We bought it, it was flatlined, and then COVID hit, and we brought it back.
Yeah.
But it's just like the technology behind that QR code and the custom audiences and the retargeting and what RETSY does for the agents in the background is what those people can't do. They just look at it at the surface level and try to copy what we do. But that said, it's just like what I was getting at there is, helping out other agents, going in on listing appointments, not getting sucked into it. I've done it with our team. I've done it with any agent at RETSY. You can call me at any time and say, hey,
for sure.
I need your advice on a listing appointment. Or
any founder at RETSY.
Yeah, you absolutely can.
Anyone.
And we take a lot of listings. I don't want to make that a habit, but like if you have a big listing and you'd like to have a partner with you, you call me.
Yeah.
Like, we'll figure it out.
Well, I think that's the beauty of RETSY, and that's what brought me to it was the collaboration. And I think as we grow, having, someone like Chris Morrison, Babby Gable, Julie Rohr, Libby Cohen, by your side, even just to have a phone call with and say, hey, I noticed you sold a house down the street. Can you tell me about the neighborhood? Like, they're going to do that for you all day without question, not expect a thing. I had a listing appointment that I got from a darling gal I had met showing a property, and I realized that they had talked to another agent, another RETSY agent, and when I looked at it, this listing was in Babby's neighborhood. And so I called Babby, told her about it. She had been working with this gal for a while. And I called the son of the mom that I was going to be interviewed with. And I was like, look, I just have to tell you, like, Babby's my mentor. Like, you can't go wrong with Babby. Like, I'm happy to come have a meeting with you guys, but you're in the right space already. And I know 1,000,000% Babby would turn around, and any one of the founders would turn around and do that for me as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have a lot of good collaboration, but also, like, I feel like our agents do what's best for our agents.
Mm-hmm. So, for sure.
Yeah. It is really special what we build here. Like, there's so much collaboration between the agents, and, I know that oftentimes agents will be afraid to call one of you guys.
For sure.
And because they'll come to me, and it's like, hey, if you got a contract question or a law question, like, I'm your guy.
Right.
Comps and PV, not your guy.
Right.
I'm not going to help you there. But hey, call Babby, call Kirk, call Chris. And, like, are you sure? I'm like, I am 1,000,000% sure.
Yep.
They'd be happy to take the call and help you out anytime.
I had an agent call. She had a question about Azure. Is it Azure? I can't remember now.
The Shea community at the Ritz-Carlton.
Yes, thank you. And she thought it was part of the Ritz-Carlton, so we got to talking. She was needing information, and happy to sit down and talk to her about it, and that's what we do.
Yeah. The collaboration, I think, is key. So before we wrap the whole team conversation, I don't want the title of this podcast to be like "Building the Team" by the head of the team.
By the team.
No, but I mean, when you look at you, Laura, Becca, like the way you guys coalesce together, the way you answer the phone, the way you guys work together, that's not something that happened overnight. And like, I know you worked really hard to put together that team dynamic, and you should be proud of yourself for what you built there.
Thanks.
And like every time I see that postcard, I'm like, she should be really proud of herself.
We're all very grateful. We're excited to spend a couple nights together in LA next week because we don't have an opportunity anymore to just kind of hang out. So.
Oh wait, all three of you guys are going. That's right.
We are. Yeah. You are not allowed.
Okay, so those who are not privy
for a sleepover.
We're part of Forbes Global Properties. We're their exclusive representation in Arizona. It's more than a brand. It helps with marketing, eyeballs on listings, exposure, outside marketing, discounted marketing. But they do regional events, and there's a big one at the Beverly Hills.
Wilshire,
which I think is a They usually do it at Four Seasons, which is
it is
nice.
a Four Seasons, and they filmed Pretty Woman there.
Oh, really?
With Julia Roberts. Yeah.
I have to educate myself on this, but I'm excited to go. Never been. I love all the Forbes events because it's like they did one in Maui, and I'm like walking through this hotel. I'm like, oh my god, it's crazy deja vu. Like, why have I've been here before? Like, I've never been here before. I'm like, have I? And I'm sitting at the table, and the waiter comes up, and he's like, so have you ever watched The White Lotus? I'm like,
oh my gosh.
That's why. That's why. I'm like, yeah, actually, just about a year ago.
That's so funny. I haven't seen that one.
But that said, it's like, the Forbes event, it's a great team build. I mean, we have probably 6-7 people going.
We have 7 with Matt. Yeah.
So it'll be a fun team building event, and we're also going to get to see some of the new tools that Forbes has. Forbes brings in great speakers, and really it's about networking and making those connections. So the next time you have a referral for Beverly Hills or vice versa, have them sharing, and then also seeing what's working. I mean, that's another great thing about that network is sharing of marketing. I remember the first event we went to. You remember that in New York? It was like,
that was fun.
I walked out of there with like books, listing presentations for.
Oh yeah, your luggage was twice the size.
And like all these different things. Yeah, and you need to bring an extra luggage with all the marketing material you got.
Yeah, it's great.
And then we come back as partners and try to implement it for everybody within RETSY. So, and it doesn't suck to go to the Beverly Hills.
When it's
are you going to actually go to the event or like just hang out
I'm going to the event. I bought a new outfit. Yes, I'm going to the event. Depends on how many white Russians are involved, but yes, I'm going to the event.
Oh, that's an inside joke, but so much fun.
So much fun.
Okay, so wrapping on the team, anything else you want to add to that?
No, I mean, honestly, if anybody had any questions on wanting to start a team, I'm an open book.
You heard it from Shawna.
Same thing about joining the team?
Yeah, I have a
anyone
little
had
experience
questions?
on that as well. When I joined a team prior to, that's really how I met Laura and Becca, was I joined a team when I was at Russ Lyon, which turned into Equitable. But yeah, I have a little experience in joining a team too.
Perfect. Cool.
So you want to hear something funny?
Sure.
We're doing the remodel in my house, or the addition onto the house right now, and I was going through like my office, throwing away stuff, and I don't like to keep stuff. I scan it, throw it in Evernote, and like toss it, right? I found the original pitch for RETSY. I'm a big like one pager thing. Like my attention span is 8.5 by 11. Like if you can fit it on a page, you have
You're
me.
good.
And I put together the whole business plan for RETSY. Like what we're going to offer. Here's the budget. This is what it's going to cost us. Here's how we're going to do it. A lot of people don't realize Shawna was the first person to be like, all right, I'm in, and here's my money, and I trust you.
Yeah. It was my whole team, Shawna, Becca, and Laura.
Yeah, we had everybody together, and
Yeah.
and then also we had, dinner,
We did.
with Randy Weston and Greg.
Yeah.
And, that's when things became really real. But you know what's crazy about that one pager? Every freaking thing in every single section has come true.
That's amazing.
Except for our operating costs are higher.
Yeah. Oh, we're bigger.
Yeah, but I was going off of like 4 years ago's numbers.
Sure.
Everything's double in price now.
Right. That's true. Yeah.
But that said, it's just like I almost brought it with me today. I
Oh, that's
forgot
funny.
it, though.
Darn.
I was gonna put it in front of you, and be like, remember this?
Yeah. I
4
will
years
say,
later, and just started.
I mean, we'd been approached by other companies. We'd been flown out to LA to get a pitch on joining one of their companies. And it was the first time we got in the car after meeting with Chris, and we were like, no, this is what we want. Like, this is what excites us. And we called you from the car, and we were like, we're in. And you're like, wait, what? Like, we hadn't even left the parking lot. You were like, wait, what?
I
that became really real.
I remember what a big deal that was to Chris.
Yeah, that means a lot.
It was.
You know, but you'll never know. Like, it meant a lot.
Just keep telling me.
Well, it's just like validation for like an idea that I'm like, okay, this is a great idea. Like, what if we could do this?
For
Like,
sure.
And then what if we held it to these standards of this type of agent, and we just catered to that and didn't water down our product?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you're part of the advisory board. Advisory board, for those who are listening, it's 5 people that we meet so that I don't make unilateral decisions within the company that could hurt the company or hurt our agents. And these are the best in the industry. Shawna's one of them, and that said, it's like I have these great people to bounce my ideas off of. Sometimes I walk into that room like shining and so excited about an idea, and then Shawna will be like, "Yeah, this has been tried before. Look at this," or like Kirk will say something.
Sure.
And then it's just like, okay. And then having those minds just makes a company stronger. But I remember after that first meeting going back and being like, all right, now this means so much more. And for
Right.
every partner that came on that trusted us from the very beginning, invested in this company, I feel like we've held very true to our values and not diluted the product.
For sure, 100%. And I think the advisory board is what makes this company great, in my opinion, because I think that you have 5 minds that all have a little bit different experience, and everybody can bring their experience to the table and discuss. And
Well, it came from some experience. I mean, you guys brought your experience from other companies. I brought mine. One of
Right.
the main things that drove me crazy in my last company is unilateral decisions by somebody that didn't make good decisions.
Right.
And it's like, and I did not want that to happen within RETSY.
for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like when you have the best minds in the industry making the decisions for the company's going to make pretty good moves.
Absolutely.
And even when we screw up, it's like, only costs money, right?
Well, we did have to remodel the office a few times.
Oh, gosh. Yes. I think we're on our 3rd remodel, but
Yeah.
it's dialed in. We're
It's
happy
good.
with it.
Now that we need more space, it's perfect.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Now that it's perfect,
just so
we need
we
more
Now
space.
that it's
It's like-
perfect, we need more space.
Anybody listening that has larger space in Old Town, please call me.
Yes.
Okay, what section are we on?
Well, I want to touch a little bit on the personal, because you
Okay.
have had a very challenging year. If you wouldn't mind, kind of sharing what you went through with, I guess we'll just say it, the C word, cancer.
For sure.
If you wouldn't mind sharing that journey, I think it's something that, really anybody, I think, could, find.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, it's it's bananas when I look back at what a year it's been. I was diagnosed in September of 2024 with breast cancer. I'm going to get emotional, but I didn't think I was going to get emotional. But it was a whirlwind. I very gratefully was able to connect with some great doctors. Had a lumpectomy right away. Learned I needed chemotherapy, so I did 4 rounds of chemotherapy every 3 weeks, and followed by 15 rounds of radiation. And then, it's a journey. I mean, by the grace of God, I'm healed and really grateful. I think I learned a lot. Like, if there's a lesson to be learned, is that the small shit doesn't matter. I've let a lot of things run my life that are unimportant. I remember one day sitting in my closet, and I was, not feeling great, and I was in the middle of chemo, and I was kind of looking around at the shoes and the purses, and I thought to myself, this doesn't make me happy. Like, I'm sitting here right now unsure of my health future, and I just realized that none of this is important. What's important was my family, my friends. I love my job, and I still worked through a lot of it. I actually have some wonderful clients that knew I was going through cancer, knew I was going through chemo, probably wasn't at my top physically and emotionally. And I even mentioned to them before I listed their house, and I said, are you sure I'm the person that you want? I'm like, I have a great team behind me. And they're like, we wouldn't list with anybody else. So, it was a journey. The post cancer journey is interesting. I'm learning too. I do think that, God put this in my life to help other people. So I've been very vocal about my cancer. I've been very open to talking to people. I get phone calls all the time. I have actually a gal that I serve communion with at church undergoing a lumpectomy as we speak. And I get calls, my mom was just diagnosed. My, best friend's sister was just diagnosed. And I've kind of made it my mission to help, even in a small level. Can I refer you to a great naturopathic oncologist? Can I and bring you dinner? Can I, whatever that may be? I'd like to think that, maybe cancer made me into a better person in the long run.
Wow.
Really kind of.
In the way you handled it, business side, obviously I don't know the family side of stuff, but I mean, it was so, you're a badass.
Yeah.
I kind of feel a little bit like a badass after this year.
You 100% are. Well, and those for the donut, can I share like your nickname that we call you in advisory board?
Oh, for sure.
The honey badger, because you do not mess with the honey badger.
No.
Yeah, you don't mess with Shawna.
No.
Yeah.
I am the honey badger.
But how long was it? And then I remember when you called me. Mm-hmm. I can remember the song on the radio, answering your call, sitting in front of that Rowie house waiting for Jay to show up. And then Jay shows up, and obviously I've been upset. Yeah. He's like, you okay? And I'm like, allergies. Because I don't know if you had told anybody, but obviously it was just like, and then like this whole thought process of like, I've never had somebody that close recently go through something like this. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what can I do to help you? And you like I went back, I talked to Kel, I'm like, what can we do to help Shawna? How can we do it? But I feel like, your family, you have such a core, awesome family. And then
I do.
Your team on the business side of things, I know that helped. But throughout that whole process, I think you're stronger today.
I do. I don't think you can come out the other side not being stronger by that. And as a side note, to this day, I still sleep with the blanket that you and Kelly gave me. I took it to every chemo.
That's 100% Kelly.
I took it to every time to chemo. I think you can come out a better person for that.
Yeah. That's the fact that you've gone through that. It's more common than a lot of people realize.
Oh my gosh. Nowadays. 1 in every 8 women will be diagnosed this year. It's crazy. And the the sad thing is it's really happening younger and younger. And if I can advocate for anything, and I tell this to everybody, and I get texts a lot that say, just scheduled my mammogram. I mean, mine was found on routine mammogram. I've been having them since I was like, whatever the age is, 45, 40 years old. And I'm a big advocate for it saves lives.
Yeah, it really
Early
does.
detection saves lives.
Yeah.
And yours was caught early.
Yes. Yeah, I was stage 1, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
Well, yeah. We had a big celebration when you beat it.
I know. Yes.
So excited.
We'll celebrate more next week. So
Yeah, let's do
every day's
that.
a celebration for me now. Every day.
100%. I'll never forget, like, after I found out and we sent flowers from Camelback Flower, and it was kind of, you know, it wasn't totally public knowledge within RETSY or anybody. And so I remember calling, and it's Camelback Flower Shop, right?
Yeah, it is.
That's your favorite?
Yeah.
And so I remember
Just like
calling.
a celebrity there, basically. They would picture her on the wall.
I love Teresa over there.
So I wanted to, like, we wanted to send you something, and I knew that was your favorite spot, but I felt so bad because I called and, like, I gave this, you know, I gave a message, you know, that talked about what was going on, and then gave your info, and they're like, oh my God, we love Shawna. And I'm like, oh shit, like, did I just spill the beans on, like, this very personal thing going on? And I felt so bad about that. And you're like, oh, and I remember telling you, and you're like, oh no, they knew. And like through tennis and
I tell
everything
my
else,
family
but
today I have a little PTSD on flowers because when I was diagnosed, I mean, my son can tell you who's sitting here. My whole house was just like a flower shop. And then, you know, you maintain them and then you throw them away. And then when I finished chemotherapy, I came home and, you know, my whole house was a flower shop. So now I like equate flowers to that. I'm starting to get out of that. Please always just remember, send flowers is fine. But yeah, so I had a little PTSD of flowers for a hot minute.
But not blankets.
Not blankets.
or Rombauer.
Or Rombauer. I did say to my my radiologist, you stop for a little a break and you go see your radiologist because you go 5 days a week for 3 straight weeks. And he's like, how are things going? And I said, I might be your only patient that manages radiation with Rombauer. And he looked at me and he goes, probably not. Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I hope, you know, people listening will get checked. And
I know a lot of people in the industry that know you that didn't know that you had gone through that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, if I can share it and let one person get tested that wasn't thinking about.
Don't delay. Put yourself first.
Nope. And don't think to yourself, I have no history of cancer in my family because I had 0. Not on a parent, grandparent, great-grandparent. There's 0 history of cancer in my family. So don't think you're
Can happen to anybody at any time.
Sure can. Yeah.
Wow.
On the lighter note.
Yeah, it's like I don't know how to
let's go to a lighter note.
from that.
So
I could share a broker story because I actually have been thinking about a broker story that I could share with Shawna that involved one of Shawna's transactions, and it's one of my.
Are you allowed to disclose that on this call?
It was one of Shawna's transactions. We're not going to give addresses, names, stuff like that, but. So Shawna represented a buyer in a transaction, and the listing had previously been under contract. They didn't. That buyer didn't perform. The listing agent shared the inspection report, which you shared with your buyer, but you did the right thing and said you should still get your own inspection. Mm-hmm. And the client didn't want to. Do you remember this transaction vividly?
Yes, I do.
And so, Shawna told her exactly what to do. Like, hey, this is great. We have this information, but we should still get our own because who knows if they missed anything, what have you. They chose not to. Proceeded with the house, asked for some repairs based on the old inspection, which the seller did not get done in time. Mm-hmm. And so you guys did your final walkthrough, discovered, hey, some of these agreed upon repairs did not get done. So they still had some work to do. But during that process, the buyer had a full inspection done and found things that was missed before. And, they wanted to include these things in what's called a cure notice. We were notifying the seller that, hey, you missed these agreed upon repairs to be done 3 days prior to close of escrow. You have 3 days to fix it. Otherwise, the buyer had an opportunity to cancel and get their earnest money and walk away. And I remember this transaction so vividly because they wanted to take a second bite at the apple and include all these other things. It's like, hey, they're not contractually obligated to do that.
Right.
And going
Well, don't forget who sent the cure.
Well, yes, that's the part I really want to like talk about because that's the part that's so funny and interesting to me. So Shawna and I were talking about this, we talked it through, and I'll never forget this because it was on my birthday. And she calls me and she's like, "Did you see that email I just sent you? I cannot believe this guy did this." So total honey badger. It was a honey badger phone call for sure.
Sorry, on your birthday.
Oh no, it was like highly. It was very interesting, like how it like had happened. So what happened is the buyer had talked to a friend that was an agent that was not involved in this transaction at all.
Which you're not allowed to do.
Which you're not allowed to do. If you're a licensee listening out here, do not interject yourself into transactions that you are not representing a party to. So the buyer essentially went to somebody with a real estate license to draw up this cure and write it the way that she felt it should be written, including all these things that were not contractual conditions.
Right.
And then remind me, did the buyer sent it to all parties, like to title and to the other side and to us and everything else?
The buyer sent it, but it had his name at the bottom of the form, his name and company at the bottom of the form.
His name and brokerage number or brokerage listed at the bottom of the form. And so it was just totally out of left field. I mean, it was like, what are you doing? Like, why in the world would you do this?
It was like 10 at night, I think. It was late.
Oh, it wasn't that late.
No?
It was like 7.
Okay.
Like, it was reasonable. It was reasonable time.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like this inappropriate cure has been sent by the buyer directly that was drawn up by somebody who's not even part of the transaction. It was just such a bizarre set of circumstances. So it was kind of like, what do we even do here? And I was like, well, just respond and say, hey, this cure is, we acknowledge this cure is invalid because we're talking about things that were not agreed to.
Right.
And we'll be sending a proper cure for the items that are outstanding that do need to be corrected.
Right.
And so we handled our side of things, but where it really got interesting was like this agent who is now like enemy number one of like, what are you doing? And so I remember talking about all the things that you wanted to have happen that evening. And I was like, let's talk to the broker. I'll follow up with the broker because I think it was like a Friday or Saturday. I was like, I'll talk to the broker on Monday.
Yeah.
And so I called the broker. And Shawna and I have done plenty of due diligence on this guy at this point. So we found out who he works for, how much he sold, and everything else. And then we found a very interesting thing, which was this happened, around April. And the agent's license had actually expired December 31st of the previous year.
Yeah.
And we had...
And the broker...
This is why we don't mess with them.
Research you.
Yes.
I will get all the dirt.
100%.
We got forewarned, so we'll know about that speeding ticket you got when you were 16 and a half years old in Iowa.
That's right.
So we find that, hey, his license expired December 31st, like 4.5 months ago.
And the broker didn't know.
And that was what was so fascinating about it. And he had closed transactions. So like not only was he interjecting himself and like interfering with your transaction, which he shouldn't have been doing, but he had closed transactions that went under contract and closed during a period when his license was expired.
Yeah.
And so I'll never forget the conversation with that other broker because I call and I'm like, hey, your agent did this. And she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm going to talk to him. That's never going to happen again. I'm like, yeah. And I haven't told you the worst part yet because I don't know if you're aware, his license expired. And as far as I can tell, he's still closing deals out there doing deals on an expired license. And she's like, oh, that's not possible. That can't happen. And I'm like, well, I'll let you look into it, and I'm just going to allow you to take care of this.
Right.
And because as a broker, I would want the same courtesy if somebody out there was doing something crazy. I'd appreciate the call first before somebody goes off and files a complaint with the Department of Real Estate and everything else. But
which we did not do.
No. But I did keep an eye on it, and
we did.
Yeah, we followed up. What was it, like 3-4 weeks later, and they both had open complaints with the department. So I know that broker did the right thing and self-reported, like, hey, we screwed up, which is exactly what she should have done. And we obviously gave her the opportunity to do it because the department will look at it a lot differently when it's self-reported as opposed to
I could see
if
that
you or I had gone off and filed filed a report. But
Right.
that was just such an interesting like couple of days of like
my.
working through that and just like, what is this guy doing? And I mean, almost like for him, maybe, and for that brokerage, like maybe a good thing that like that all happened because he was.
Is it a big brokerage or a little brokerage?
It's I don't want to say names.
We
but,
call them Pog a Mirror brokerages. Hire anybody that can Pog a Mirror.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's a bigger brokerage.
Big.
It's a bigger brokerage for sure. But you know, who knows? He could still be out there practicing on an expired license. For all we know.
Shocking.
But
That's scary.
they did the right thing.
Yep.
But that's one of my favorite broker stories of Shawna because it was total honey badger coming out. Just like, what's going on? And
His license is expired. He works here. He does many deals. He sucks at driving. Everything on him. Like, this is where he lives. It's like,
I know.
100%. But and everything with that client, like, you and
she's
that
great.
client are like best friends now, right?
Yeah. She and I text quite a bit, and she asks me questions about the neighborhood and needs referrals for contractors or what have you. She's great. She's awesome.
Yeah.
so it pays to have an agent with some experience. Like, it really does.
100%.
It helps.
Yeah.
It helps.
And you're
And a good broker behind it.
Yes.
Can
Oh,
get the
amen.
answers to the questions and everything. So.
Amen to that.
Well, I do also want to talk about just kind of like, where do you see the Arizona market? How do you see the next 5 years?
You know, I think that we're experiencing a little bit of a correction. Nothing outrageous. I mean, as you all know, RETSY in June, and I can't remember what other month, March maybe, May,
Yeah,
had
a
our
couple solid, really.
like record
months.
months.
It's not supposed to happen in June.
No, it's not, and it's. I've had a wonderful year, thank God. I think that the market in general is going to auto-correct. I think that from 2020 on, it was such an upward, fast trajectory, and I think people were panicked. We had a lot of course, people coming from California that were looking to get out of the chaos that was happening over there, and that happened well through 2022 as kids were, still at home learning, and we as Arizonans were open to in-person learning, and so I think that it did hit an unnatural trajectory, which increased prices very quickly. I don't see any trajectory in our 5-year future that sends it on the opposite curve. But I think a correction is good. I mean, technically right now we're in a balanced market, and a balanced market is a good market. It's just educating sellers to we're not in a 2022, 2023 market. Hopefully interest rates will come down, and that will spur a nice Q3, Q4 for the balance of this year. But I think we're still such a desirable place to live. I think that more businesses are opening. We're constantly recruiting people coming into the Valley, and they need housing. And we've had such a shortage for so long that having new houses on the market is a really good thing. They're just not selling in the 3 days that they were selling prior. But that's where a good realtor comes in. And that's where I think it shakes out the ones that thought that everybody can do this job, and you just put a sign in the yard and you collect a commission check, and it's just so much more. And being with the best brokerage, in my opinion, really helps mitigate the challenges in our market. We have tools that we can use. We have opportunities through Forbes to get big listings. I mean, I got a $13 million listing off a $5 million listing when Forbes wrote an article about it. Yeah. And so I think that the cream will always rise to the top. And I think shaking out some of the agents that came into the market between 2020 and 2023 is not a bad thing. I think you hire the best and work with the best.
Well, it's like every Tuesday on our rendezvous calls with our agents, the first 15 minutes is like, here are the different zip codes, here's how they're affected. You're 100% correct. It's like we are experiencing balance. In some of the higher price point zip codes, still appreciation. Some of the outskirts zip codes, maybe a little bit of depreciation. But I love that Bradley does that for us. He's very giving on his time. And
he is.
and educate you. So when people bring up that conversation, I mean, I'll be up in Forest Highlands listening to an agent talk that's not with RETSY, like just claiming things that just aren't true about the market. And I just kind of like, I want to give you a link to log in. One Tuesday is all you're allowed on.
Sure.
But like educate yourself on the market and know what's going on. Like I know I can name 3 zip codes and you can pull every fact like accurate just based on your knowledge, you know, and that's the key to like knowing, you know, where the market's going. But I think you're 100% correct. I too agree that we're kind of in a balanced market. If interest rates go down, maybe back to a seller's market.
Right.
Leaning a little bit buyer market. Like there's been a few showings where I'm like, God, I hope that person writes an offer.
I know.
Like even more now than ever. But
I know.
but that's it. It's healthy.
Yeah.
Exactly what you said.
A little competition is not a bad thing.
Yeah. Well, we're getting close to time here. So anything else we want to bring up, talk? We got Sean on the hot mic. If I'm an agent, what would I want to hear?
Can we ask a time travel question? That's my favorite question.
That's a fun question.
Yeah. So if you could travel back in time 10 years or forward in time 10 years and talk to yourself for a minute, do you go back in time or forward in time, and what do you say?
A back in time for sure. I mean, I'm not getting any younger, so 10 years in the future would be not a good place to be. No, back for sure. And close your ears, Chris. I would say to 10-year-ago me, buy more real estate, hold on to more real estate, keep more real estate, have rentals, don't get rid of them over and over and over.
Buy and forget you own it.
Yeah.
Yep.
That would be 10-year-ago me. Oh, and yeah, get your mammogram sooner. I would tell that to my 10-year-ago me too.
Good advice.
Killer advice.
Yeah.
I know it makes Chris happy. He loves.
I know.
He loves being the mayor of I Told You Town.
He is the mayor of I
How
Told
come
You
I don't have
Town.
that shirt yet? Like,
We got you a better card for your birthday.
oh my God, that card is so good. I'm like Jack, can you impose a card on the? No, I'm just kidding. All right. Anything else you want to cover?
I don't think so. Anything else you want to add?
I don't think so. Thanks for having me.
Shawna, one of our original partners, and put trust in the company when there's like 9 of us, I believe. Yeah, 8 of us.
Babies
There's like the Morrison
out of
team
Industrious.
plus the team, and you know, and the amazing team that you work with, and the trust they put in. That was a huge decision, and 4 years later, we're just starting, and you know, holding to the standards, and you're a big part, and I'm super grateful to you for everything you give.
Thank you.
Like the advisory board is not a paid position, right? It's just people giving their time in season weekly, out of season monthly.
Yeah, right.
For us, seasons based on the temperature of Arizona. But that said, it's like you give so much, and we're super grateful. And everybody at RETSY should be very grateful for everything you've given. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you,
Thanks,
Shawna.
guys.
All right, how do we get a hold of Shawna Warner?
Yeah, how do we connect?
What's your Instagram
How do
handle?
people connect with you
Your
after?
TikTok? You on Snapchat?
I ditched my Snapchat. I am Warner Clan, and I have no real estate one. It's all one. So you get to see family, you get to see real estate, you get to see all the fun stuff. And then always sell 602-743-7006.
Shawna at RETSY.com.
Shawna at RETSY.com.
Awesome. Thank you
for
so much,
coming.
Thanks,
Shawna.
guys.
That wraps up this week's episode of the RETSY podcast. Thanks for listening. Check out the show notes to connect with Shawna. If you enjoyed today's episode, take a moment to leave us a review wherever you listen to this podcast. And please subscribe so you never miss what's next. Next week, Chris and Matt are sitting down with RETSY agent Bradley Obitz. Here's a sneak preview.
I like to call it kind of like a life-changing money situation, you know, because working in youth ministry, you really don't make any money. And it was amazing that I was able to get away with actually like providing. Yeah. And same with teaching. And so there was one deal in particular that I made more money in like, let's call it 4 months or 3 months than I could make in like 5 years. And I was so thankful, and it was this deal that I did in North Central Phoenix. A lot of people would know this house if they passed it. It's a pretty prominent house in North Central Phoenix.